You are making the world a better place by listening to the Joy of Living podcast. This is your guide to achieving a more purposeful, powerful, and positive life. Join Barry Shore in unlocking the best version of you and becoming happier, healthier, and wealthier. And now, here's your ambassador of joy, Barry Shore.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings, and good-looking people. Maybe you're good-looking because you're always looking for and finding the good. We have good in abundance overflowing today, and you have tuned in consciously and conscientiously to the Joy of Living with your humble host, Barry Shore, and you've tuned in for one reason and one reason only, and it's the best reason in the whole world, because you care in the entire world about one person, and that is you. And that's great, because when you become the best you possible, you make the world a better place. You build more bridges, you create more joy, harmony, peace, happiness, and love in the world. And that's the reason you tuned in, because you know that in this show, we discuss the three fundamentals of life. And these three fundamentals, when you apply them, will enable you to be happier, healthier, and wealthier. Who doesn't want that? Happier, healthier, and wealthier. And that's what our amazing guest is going to be discussing with us today. You will find this information transformative. So all you have to do is just listen, lean in, and let it flow through you, around you, and in you. You don't take any notes. Don't remember anything, because everything you want to know is going to be in this recording. You'll be able to access whenever you want. And everything about our amazing guests, all you have to do is go to my website, www.barryshore.com, and all the information will be there. Remember, this show is not about me. It's about you, Y-O-U. And you are joined at the very moment, by the way, by 349,613 people around the world. And by the time we bring in our wonderful guests, we'll probably be over 355,000 people. So again, we discuss on the show the three fundamentals of life. And these three fundamentals are, number one, your life has purpose. And when you lead a purpose-driven life, number two happens. This is a good number two. You go mad. Now, in this case, MAD is a wonderful acronym. It stands for Make a Difference. You lead a purpose-driven life, you make a difference in the world just by your very being. And number three, the fundamental is to unlock and find the secrets and the power of everyday words and terms. That's right, everyday words and terms. Simple example, www. Right now, this wonderful show is being carried over the internet, that magical, mystical, mythical platform. If you ask anybody, what does www stand for? Invariably, they'll tell you it has to do with the internet. And factually speaking, they're correct. But in our world, the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, www stands for, drum roll, fanfare, da-da, da-da. What a wonderful world. And what is a word, right? W-H-A-T-A. What a wonderful world. That's what it stands for. Now, whenever you hear the opening bars of that song, by the way, huge thank you to Satchmo Louis Armstrong for enabling that song to go viral and touch tens of millions, no, hundreds of millions, no, billions of people around the planet. We even hear the opening bars of What a Wonderful World. What do you do right away? You smile. You can't help it. That's how beautiful it is. So whenever I'm speaking to people, and I just before COVID, and thank God this will be gone in a year or so, won't even think about it again. The masquerade is over. I was speaking to a group just before COVID, 5,200 people in the audience. And I'm telling the story about Barry Shore, and I'm telling about people the word smile. Now, smile is one of the greatest words, acronyms you could ever internalize, utilize, and leverage in your life, because smile stands for seeing miracles in life every day. Seeing miracles in life every day. So people raise their hand, hey, Barry Shore, I've been up for hours, I haven't seen any miracles. And I asked them, are you here? Can you hear? Can you see? Can you stand still? I can't. Can you walk? I can be able to do that. Do you have water to drink, food to eat, a place to sleep, family, friends? Every single one of those is a miracle. What's the simplest proof? Simple proof. 1 million people did not get out of bed this morning. You know why? They died. By definition, if you're watching this, listening to it, you didn't. If you didn't, you have an obligation to live life exuberantly. Now, I've got to tell you a quick story. I was telling the story about Barry Shore. What's the story of Barry Shore? Imagine standing up in the morning, hale and hearty, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound, and that evening being in the hospital, totally, completely paralyzed. Not from an automobile accident, not a spinal injury. A rare disease took over my body, which I never heard of the day before, and made me a quadriplegic. Nothing on my body moved. 144 days in hospital. I was 2 years in a hospital bed in my own home. I couldn't turn over by myself. 4 years in a wheelchair. I had braces on both my legs, from my hips to my ankles. That was progress. Thank God today I'm able to be vertical and ambulatory with the help of a 7-foot walking wand. So I'm a triped, not a biped, but I can't walk up a curb by myself. I can't walk up a stair by myself. I have help 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, but hear my voice. Positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant. Why? Because of the word smile. Seeing miracles in life every day. I got to tell you quickly, my 8-year-old niece comes over to me a few weeks ago. She says, Uncle Barry, can we spell smile S-M-I-E-L? I thought about it. Sounds the same. I said, why not? I asked her, how come? She says, because then it would stand for seeing miracles in everyday life. Out of the mouth of babes, an 8-year-old. But what was she doing? She was creating the kind of world she wants to live in. Now, CREATE is a wonderful acronym that stands for causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. Rethinking. Thank God you have a brain. Your brain is 100 billion brain cells. We have 120 trillion synapses connecting all those brain cells, and they're there for deciding more than what kind of latte you want this morning. The ability for you to use your mind to create a mindset and therefore do neurolinguistic programming. That's the genius of the human being. That's what our amazing guest is going to talk to us about today, and enabling you, again, to be happier, healthier, and wealthier. Because when you do this, you use the 6 most important words that you'll ever utilize, internalize, and leverage in your life. And these are choice, not chance, determines your destiny. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. Now, I do have to warn you in advance and warn our guests that I do use a lot of 4-letter words. And I even use the 4-letter FU word. I do it because of the shock value, and it's fun. The 4-letter words that we use, of course, because we live in the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, are love, life, hope, free, gift, pray, play, swim, sell, sail. 4-letter words, and the 4-letter FU word is fun. Fun, yes. FU, capital N, capital N. And people raise their hands and say, Barry Shore. Fun's only spelled with 3 letters. Not in our world, the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant. Fun is spelled capital F, capital U, capital N, fun. So after the show, you see your family and your friends, you have a twinkle in your eye and a smile on your face, whatever that stands for. Point your finger and say, FU, everybody. Remember to add right away, capital N, capital N. Where'd you get that? I said, I listened to Barry Shore, the joy of living. He wants to teach the world to FU, capital N, capital N. So before we bring on an amazing guest, I'm going to urge everybody to do something. I want you to use the 2 most powerful words in the English language 3 times a day from now for the rest of your life. Because if you do this, when you do this, you're going to change you for the better, your family, your friends, and all living beings throughout the planet. And these 2 words are thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks stands for to harmonize and network kindness. To harmonize and network kindness. The Dalai Lama has been quoted as saying, I read in his writings, be kind whenever possible. And it's always possible, he says. Imagine you go back into our coffee shops, pandemic's over, no mask. You go in, you order your fancy latte, you sit down, somebody brings it to you. You say, thank you. You go in the coffee shop, you order your fancy latte, you sit down, a few minutes go by, nobody brings it to you. So you go to the counter and they say, oh, I'm sorry, we forgot, we're busy, we'll bring it to you. Sit down, a couple more minutes go by and somebody brings you, say, thank you. Imagine you walking out of the coffee shop and it's raining out. Somebody holds the door open for you. You say, thank you. You're walking out of the coffee shop and it's raining out. Somebody slams the door on you. You say, thank you. You walk in, get up in the middle of the night and you stub your toe and it hurts. You say, thank you. To harmonize and network kindness. KIND is a great acronym. It stands for Keep Inspiring Noble Deeds. I cannot think of anybody that I would love to share with you today that inspires noble deeds and makes you happier, healthier, and wealthier than the more remarkable, wonderful, amazing Tom Hopkins. Tom, please say hello to 357,820 people around the world.
Hello, and I am so pumped and excited. And Barry, that 10 minutes gave me so much good information. And just in what you said, I can see the similarities and commonality you and I have in the way we live and the way we believe. And I'm just really pumped. And we're going to share some great ideas with all your folks. And congratulations on all you've been through and have gone through. And I'm just really excited to be a part of your event today. So let's get ready, and I'm ready when you are.
We're doing well. Tom Hopkins, for anybody who is a sentient being in the world, if you don't know the name, then you've been missing out. But I will tell you, Tom, 80% of the people who watch us and listen to us are under the age of 38. So that means there are a number of people. And by the way, worldwide audience. And we have thousands and thousands of people in China and India, Indonesia, and the Philippines, and so Africa and Europe, all over the world. Tom Hopkins, for anybody who's ever touched anything to do with sales or selling, is the capital T, capital H, capital E, the master guru, sales trainer, and user of his own techniques. By the way, you got to know something. See, if you're only there on stage and you're telling other people what to do, okay, it's very nice. You might get paid. You might make money. That's not what Tommy Hopkins did. Tommy Hopkins, in 1 year, I think this is correct, Tom. You'll correct me if not. He sold, in the real estate business, he sold 365 homes in a single year, which, of course, if you do the math, that's one a day. He didn't make presentations. He closed on one house a day every single day. Now, sometimes he may have sold 2 or 3 in a day. But the point is, when Tom is going to be discussing with us the highest calling of a human being, which in my humble opinion is in sales, he's going to share with us transformative information. But information alone means nothing. Unless you internalize it, utilize and leverage it, it becomes transformative. That's what Tom's going to do. So I'm going to speak less, which is uncharacteristic, of course, but I'm going to ask Tom to speak more because I want you, please, Tom, to address what I call selling as the highest calling in life.
Well, I can't agree more. And people many times are turned off by the term sales or selling because many people have had either a poor experience with someone who got into sales. And one of the challenges, Barry, is many people can go into a company, go into sales, have no training, and many of them will mistreat people or maybe do the wrong thing and leave a bad scar on a person who kind of gets turned off on the thought of sales and selling. But as I travel the world, and I don't think there's a free enterprise capitalistic country that I haven't had a seminar in the last 40 years, but the people that do the best in companies, they have a person out there every day putting their ego on the line, knowing they could be rejected, but in essence, trying to help someone say yes to the opportunity. And this, of course, is sales. And I really believe if a parent has children grow up properly, they made the sale as to a parent. If a husband and wife in the world today stay married all their lives and die married together, they made a good sale. So I think if people will open their minds up that selling is a way of life, and hopefully in our short time, I can share with them some reasons why it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. As long as what you're doing is a service rather than just a selling situation. So that's what I'd like to start with. So fire away with your
So
questions.
let's unpack
Barry.
a couple of points because, again, we have a worldwide audience and different cultures and such. And everything that in my humble opinion, that Tom is sharing with us, and that's what he's doing. I am so humbled and honored that he's making the time for us today. What he's sharing with us is the essence of life. So I made a great sale and I closed on something 45 years ago, and we're still married, my wife and I, and it's wonderful.
My wife made the best sale. She sold me and closed me, and I'm so thrilled she did.
But that's what we're talking about, right? I want everybody to understand that we're lighthearted about it, because when selling is done from the heart and the mind in combination with a good soul, and the product or the service is right, and it's getting to the yes because it's to the benefit of the person or group or company that you are presenting to and with, and it's being done in the spirit, that spirit of channeling of good. Again, sales, in my humble opinion, is the highest calling in life. Now, by the way, Tom, you know this, I think you've been reading also, you keep current with everything, is that it's very difficult in today's environment to recruit people under the age of 25 or somewhere between 20 and 25 into the sales environment, because, as you pointed out, just the word itself is like a tin air. It just doesn't ring true to a lot of people. And yet once you get past that and you learn what Tom Hopkins lives by, doesn't just preach and just teach, he lives by these principles, then you will understand why he's, thank God, has been able to enable millions of people around the world to lift themselves up and not just make a good living for themselves, to make a great life for themselves. So, Tom, please, let's continue. Let's talk about this idea. Has selling changed, put in quotation marks, has selling changed over the past 40 years since you've been involved in this world?
Well, let me give you an analogy. If we were to look at the game of golf as an analogy, Bobby Jones in the late 30s and 40s was the number one golfer in the world. And keep in mind, that was in the 30s and 40s. And today, if we look at a Tiger Woods and a Phil Mickelson as an example, there are 14 reflex movements in a good golf swing. And if you looked at Bobby Jones in the 30s and 40s, it's the same basic swing that Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson would use, and that has not changed. Now, what has changed, and an example, the game of golf, is back in the, early 30, 40, 50s, a golfer would never do much exercise as far as their upper body because they didn't want to get muscle that would slow the fluidity of their swing. But that's changed today. If you look at Tiger Woods back when he, of course, was on the top of his game, he was physically fit, had a tremendous upper body, and there was an example of a change. And the thing that's changed, for example, in golf is the clubs are much better and have given golfers much more opportunity. But the 14 reflex movements of the golf swing from Bobby Jones to Phil Mickelson or Tiger Woods, that has not changed. And selling is the same thing. The fundamentals of making a sale and leading a person to say yes and write a check, that has not changed. And they still work today. Now, of course, we have to adapt them to our times. And one thing that I do is when I have a seminar in a city, the night before I do the seminar, I usually have 2 or 3 of the top income earning salespeople come to dinner. And I pick their brains as to what is the latest thing happening. How is sales different today? And of course, we go through everything. And when all the smoke clears, It's still fundamentally the same 7 fundamentals of selling any product, be it an automobile, be it a computer, be it a service to the home, be it a home like I sold 8 years in real estate. So again, selling has not changed. Your adaptation to people and the culture, yes, you must be adaptable. That's one reason why my seminar in Ohio might have a different tone than in California, primarily because there's a difference in the culture, which that's why I have dinner with 3 of the top people and they fill me in. But in all my many years and over 5 million people coming to my seminars, the basic fundamentals of selling have not changed. I don't think they ever will change. People are people, and our job is to communicate effectively to where after we have a rapport, after there's a feeling of a relationship, and the benefits your product or service offers fulfills a true need, then you're doing the right thing. And I can't tell you how many times people come to my seminar who maybe I had one man in San Francisco who came up to the stage and I was autographing as I do at breaks some books, and he didn't have a book. I said, yes. He says, Tom, I'm not at the seminar. My wife and I saw your ad in the newspaper. You were having the seminar, and my wife insisted that I come down here. I said, really, why? Because in 1968, my wife and I walked into your real estate office in California, and we didn't have very much money. We wanted to rent a home. And you sat us down at your desk, and you were so nice. You said, let me ask you a question. If in this hand I held a home that was owned by a landlord that you were renting and paying the mortgage for him, and he was getting the profit and the appreciation and the equity, or in this hand, I was holding your home that you owned, that you had all the benefits and took advantage of the equity. If you could have either one for getting money, which would you choose? Well, they both smiled. They said, we'd love to own a home, but we have such little money. I said, well, creative financing is one of my specialties. So can you just open your mind? And that's very good words. Can you open your mind to be a homeowner and not a home renter? Well, he said to me, he says, we paid $18,950 for that little home. But now this year, my wife and I, now that was 1968, Tom, my wife and I are retiring. And we have just sold that home for $430,000, which that equity and that money is the biggest part of our retirement financial future, thanks to you not letting us rent, but convincing us to own. Well, see, Barry, that is a sale that was so good. And I cannot tell you, my last year in real estate, I had 600 people come to an event, a dance, and the band and laugh. And they were all people who listed or sold homes with me in 8 years. And I can't tell you how many folks have made a lot of money because I was good at helping them say yes to the right thing. And that's really what I hope folks are going to get out of this is there are not a lot of changes in the art of selling. And a lot of young people, I think, might, because of the word sales and selling, not see the benefits. But I can't tell you the number of young men and women under 30 that I helped get into real estate. That was my main background, of course. Mm-hmm. But I find that anyone that goes into sales and has a trainer, a teacher, someone that teaches them how to ask the right questions, how to be a wonderful listener, not a talker. But if a person learns the fundamentals that I teach, I guarantee you they can not only have a lot of fun, as you mentioned, with two N's.
F you, Tommy. F you, capital N.
That's right. They will just have a blast. And again, I try my best to make people realize that there are fundamentals. First of all, you've got to find something you totally believe in. And years ago, I played golf with a very famous man, Wayne Gretzky, the famous hockey player who came from Edmonton, Calgary, Canada. The great one, 99. He came to Los Angeles, and I happened to buy a home in California back then, just around the corner from him, on a golf course in California. And he and I got to know each other and played golf. And one day after golf, I said, Wayne, you kind of know I write books. I've written, back then there was one about 10. I've written 20 now. But I said, Wayne, I'm curious. I want to tell people who come to my seminars why you feel you became the great one and changed the game of hockey really in first Los Angeles and in a way the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the reason was? And Wayne Gretzky, Barry, gave me the famous P word. And I call it the P word because I feel it's something you have to have. And he said, Tom, I had an overwhelming passion for all aspects of hockey. I had a passion, of course, for winning, but I had even a passion for losing. I had a passion knowing when I skated on the ice, that the whole other team was after me because they knew if they could control me, they'd probably beat us. And he wasn't being braggadocious. He was just telling me the facts, which were true. And so I've started saying to people, you think about selling, find something you have a passion for. I've had people, Barry, say, Tom, I bet you could sell anything. I'd say, well, possibly do well, but I could never do great unless I just burned with a passion. And I did with real estate. I mean, I loved helping people get into a home. I had some things I did that we're going to talk about that helped me make so many sales. And the year I sold those 365 homes, my manager on November 15th told me that I was on target to do that. And it had never been done in real estate. And I busted my backside and sure enough did it. And he was right. My phone started ringing off the hook. And I believe in your life, Barry, there are what I call defining moments, things that happen that can be life-changing. And that's kind of what happened to me. I mean, it was life-changing. The National Association of Realtors called me. I was 23 and
Remember,
said...
I want everybody to hear this. Hold on one moment. Tom was 23 at the time. He wasn't 33. He wasn't 43. He wasn't 53. He was 23. By the way, I'm going to tell you something, Tommy Hopkins. I called you Tommy.
Yes, that's fine.
Because as you were speaking, I urge people, if you're listening to this, is great. I want you to watch it also. Thank God we do video and audio. As Tom was speaking, you were becoming younger and younger and younger as you were talking about the sales process, helping people be in homes, about passion. You were animated, which is the essence of life. Animated means life. You're alive. I'm just letting you know, Tom, as you were doing it, you were getting younger.
Well, I totally agree. I have so many people who say, Tom, what do you think are some of the secrets? And I say, you got to be always excited, always enthusiastic. People will say yes more to your enthusiasm and excitement than to even the knowledge about a product or service.
Right.
But what happened to me is I showed up in Los Angeles at this big convention center. And I, of course, at 23, was supposed to speak for an hour to maybe 100 people. Now there's 5,500 people at the convention. Well, I'm going on, Barry, at 1 o'clock, but I got my suit, tie, and my little speaker badge on so I could be on the stage behind the curtains. And I'm standing there at 8:10, and it's supposed to start at 8. And suddenly the president of the association comes over to me and says, Tom, our featured speaker and he was a famous author, is caught in LA traffic, but we have to start. Can you go on? Now here I have a chance to walk out in front of 5,500 people instead of 100. And I had no preparation, but I'll never forget, Pierre. I walked out and they introduced me. Here's a young man that at the end of this year had 365 homes sold in 1 year. And there was a gasp in the audience because back then, if you had 4 sales a month, 1 a week, you were hot stuff. Well, I was having 30 a month for 365. So I walked out on the stage and I looked out at the audience. And of course, the president told me, Tom, you can only speak till our featured speaker arrives and then you're done. So I have no idea really what I'm going to say or how much or whatever. But I walked out on the stage and I looked out in the audience and I said, I hope you all realize that there are 10 words that you and many of the folks in your office say that are costing you a lot of money.
We're going to hold right there. Everybody wants to know those 10 words. I want to know those 10 words, but we have sponsors who love to this show and they pay money. So everybody stay on the edge of your seat. Don't go away. Tom Hopkins is coming back and you're going to learn the 10 words. Be right back. Good day, everybody. Barry Shore here. I've had the privilege of being involved in 5 startups in my career. And I can tell you categorically, working at a startup is unimaginably hard. And I wish I had what I'm going to be talking to you about now. It's called Notion, Notion. Because having one spot to organize everything and work as a team makes it much easier. All your notes, your documents, your projects, your processes, your tasks. I mean, it's great. Don't you wish you could have one way to pull them all together? Well, now you can. For startups, Notion can provide a full-on operating system for running every aspect of your company, keeping everyone aligned as you grow fast and take on more. If you're interested, and I urge you to become interested, and you want to find out more, Notion is running a special offer just for startups. You'll get up to $1,000 off Notion's team plan by going to notion.com/startups. Notion.com/startups. To give you a sense, that's almost a year of free Notion for a team of 10. Again, that's notion.com/startups to receive up to $1,000 in free credit to use Notion with your team. I urge you, do this now. That's up to $1,000 value when you go to notion.com/startups. Do it now. You'll be glad you did. You'll thank me, and I wish you great success. Hi, everybody. Barry Shore here, the ambassador of joy. We've entered into the fall season, and fall means coming up to winter, holidays, all kinds of stuff, not just stuff, stress, S-T-R-E-S-S. You know, I've spoken about stress many times on the show, and with stress coming on with the holiday season, everybody wants to be happy and such, but everybody knows what's going on. I want to talk to you about something really important for your benefit. It's called Talkspace, Talkspace, Talkspace.com. This is an online therapy program, show, website, and it's available for you. It is so important for you to be involved. You all know my story. Standing up in the morning, hale and hearty, in the evening, quadriplegic. Okay, nobody has to go through something that drastic to know that speaking to somebody, a professional licensed therapist, can be of benefit. I know it's true. It helped me. It can help you. This is so easy to do. You are talking about secure professional process. It's the #1 online therapy platform in the country. It works around your schedule, your convenience. I urge you, please match yourself with a licensed therapist. Go to Talkspace.com. talkspace.com, TALKSPACE, talkspace.com. Get $100 off your first month with the promo code Barry, BARRY. Go to talkspace.com, put in the promo code Barry, BARRY, and you'll get $100 off your first month. Please do it. You'll thank me. Best wishes. Bye now. Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking because you're always looking for and finding the good. Have we found good in abundance? Our cup runneth over with good. And it's a two-legged being named Tom Hopkins. He's coming down from the mountain, and look, lo and behold, he's bringing 10 words. Tom, you promise us, what are those 10 words that everybody needs to know?
All right. First, I have 3 beautiful doggies that are our babies. And I think that honest pet is fabulous. So great, great, great. Okay. I'm going to give you only 5. And I'll tell you why. For the time we have on these questions, I think 5 will be a good start. I'll tell them where they can get all of them towards the end of our program. But the first word you don't want to say is the word buy. Because see, when you say to someone, when you buy this product, many of them before they met you, because you are in sales, said, we're not buying. So we never say buy because that puts up a negative. We say own. People love to own. They're a little afraid to buy. So replace buy with own. Another word you don't want to say is sell. If you say to someone, when we sell you this, you're going to love it, right away, they negatively think we don't want to get sold.
Right.
So I never sold a home. I got people involved. And I think you get people involved in your offering. You just don't sell them. And then some of you have a written form or today the computer, but never call it a contract. People go, I'm not getting near a contract. We call it an agreement. People love to have an agreement. They just don't want a contract. And then, of course, don't use the word deal. You know, this is a good deal. They had someone say that 2 years ago, and it turned out to be a bad deal. So we call it an opportunity. This will be a great opportunity for you. And then don't ask them to sign anything. If they have to sign it, Mom and Dad said, don't sign anything. We asked them to approve it or authorize it. So those 5 little words, as people are listening to this, make those part of your new speech. And then, of course, towards the end of the program, I'm going to kind of let you and I tell them where they can get all my products,
Absolutely.
my books.
Well, we'll tell them right now. So you don't have to
Well,
write these down.
yeah,
Let me just share with everybody.
I'm so fortunate as I'm kind of winding down my seminar career. I'm not totally, but it's winding down. Amazon has taken all of my books and CDs and DVDs and all my products, and they're offering them at a tremendous discount. And of course, we wanted to. I can't have a big warehouse full of books and CDs and DVDs, and I'm not doing seminars. So I'm thrilled. But if anybody's interested, if they'll go to Amazon and just ask for the Tom Hopkins sales products, they'll all come up. And again, I think they're at about a 50% discount from what when I was, fully opened and so forth and had my warehouse, that we would sell them for. So again, Amazon has my stuff. And hopefully if the people like our little short time here, they'll want to take advantage of that.
Absolutely.
But anyway.
And by the way, I want to make mention, as I said in the beginning also, there's so much stuff you want to know about Tom and what he does, who he is. Just go to my site because we're going to give details of how they get to you in every aspect. So just go to www, remember what that stands for, whataWonderfulWorld.barryshore.com. But I want to make mention to you a couple of things. It's so funny. Everybody should know that Tom is really a Scotsman. You didn't know you were a Scotsman, did you, Tom?
No.
Because, see, in the world that we have it today, and it's always been this way, he mentioned it, I'm unpacking a little bit. See, Scotsmen wear kilt, right? Everybody
Right.
knows what a kilt is. In other times they call it a dress. We call it a kilt. Kilt is, in our world, KLT. The process of sales, of coming and getting agreement with two parties or more for common good, is exemplified by a kilt, because kilt stands for to know, to like, and to trust. And that's really what Tom is discussing. That's what his whole life has been about: to get to know, like with Wayne Gretzky, to get to like each other, and then to trust. So that Wayne became a promoter for Tom Hopkins. By the way, Wayne Gretzky's greatest line, in addition to everything else, they asked him, "How did you become the great one?" So what did he answer? He answered, he always skated to where the puck was going to be. I'm going to repeat that. He didn't skate like every other skater. Imagine this. Every other skater in the hockey league skated where the puck was. Wayne Gretzky skated to where the puck was going to be. He intuited, he saw the future. And that's the way you want to live your life in the process we call selling. Tom, I got to tell you how amazingly au courant you are. You ready?
Okay.
Wall Street Journal last week announced that Goldman Sachs reported that they will not allow their bankers or traders to use the word deal. And we're talking about people who are doing deals in the tens and hundreds of millions, maybe billions, but they didn't want to use the word deal anymore because it has the wrong connotation. It's carnival barker type of stuff. Remember, okay, I have to go a little bit deep. We're going to go inside baseball, in the weeds. I want to hear the story of how you met J. Douglas Edwards. I think you were walking out of your backyard in Arizona.
Well, and that's a great story. What happened to me is, after 4 or 5 months of not doing real well in real estate, I was young. I looked young. I didn't have a car. I had only a motorcycle. And I was not doing well. I spent about the last $150 I had in the bank to go see Mr. Edwards at a seminar in Santa Monica, California. And he so moved me. I have 2 or 3 people that were mentors back then: Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, Earl Nightingale, and J. Douglas Edwards, who literally had a title, the father of American selling.
Mm-hmm.
And I listened to him, and I started using all of his closing techniques, his questioning, his art form of selling. And he was the reason I was able to sell all those houses. Well, anyway, what happened to me is, after 8 years in real estate, I decided I'm ready to change my life and not just sell, but teach what I do. And a man in Arizona, Phoenix, he called my office and said, "I'm going to pay your airfare and a fee to come to Phoenix and do a seminar at my real estate school." And so I came over and I spoke at his real estate school, and he and I clicked. And he said, "Tom, in a year or 2 or maybe 3, I don't know, I want to sell my real estate school." Well, of course, I had this huge business in sales in California in real estate, and I decided I was going to make that change. And everybody in that knew me said to me, "You're nuts. You mean you have your signs all over the valley in Simi Valley, California, and you got a great business. Why would you give that up?" I said, I'm giving it up because it's time for me to go through some change. I'm sorry about that. I don't know where. Just 1 second. Anyway, don't let that bother you. My wife put her phone down. Anyway, so I went ahead and I moved to Simi Valley, or to Phoenix, to buy this real estate school. And I bought a beautiful home in Scottsdale, Paradise Valley. And I'm moving in. And the day I am moving in, I'm in the garage helping the movers put the furniture in the house the first day. And suddenly I hear a voice. "Is Tom Hopkins here?" And I mean to tell you, I turned around, and there in my garage is the famous J. Douglas Edwards. And I had listened to his records. See, this is before cassettes. We had few young 25 and unders.
They don't
We used
know
to
what
have
record.
we used to have these big black round things you'd
Oh, by
put
the
on
way,
a.
no, vinyl is coming back, Tom.
Oh,
Vinyl
really?
is the new thing.
Okay. But anyway, now here's why I say there was defining moments. I had no idea. I knew he lived in Arizona, the state. I had no idea where Mr. J. Douglas Edwards, and by the way, you that are interested, if you look at all my stuff at Amazon, I took all of his records and then cassettes and I put them on CDs so people can take advantage of the J. Douglas Edwards closing the sale training. But here he is in my garage. I said, Mr. Edwards. And of course, I was dumbfounded. And he said, Tom, I heard you moved in and I thought I'd welcome my new next door neighbor to the area. So out of, I think, then 4 million people in Arizona, I buy a home right next door to the man that changed my life and taught me how to sell. And he took me under his wing like a child. And I met with him so often, hours I would sit at his feet, learning the art of speaking, the art of motivating, the art of doing a seminar. So these are these type of defining moments that can be life-changing. And that, of course, that was for me.
There are people around the world right now, young, dynamic, eager, thirsting, searching people. For them, this is a defining moment. Because
well,
when
I sure hope
understand, when you begin to listen to it, I want everybody to listen to this again, at least once, maybe twice. I want you to share this with 5 people. You don't have to share it with 50 or 100 or 1,000. Yeah, that's very nice. 5 people that you really care about. Share this because this is life transforming. What Tom shares is not just, hey, he's one of the best in the world. No, the best. And he's talking about his mentor who was the best. So we're talking about processes that will enable you to expand your mind, as he said. And as we talked about at the beginning, the word create, causing rethinking, enabling all to excel, the ability to use words to know when to speak. And in J. Douglas Edwards, what he taught me is when to shut up. Remember that one?
Oh, that's so funny that you'd say that, Barry, because that was, we all in our business of seminars, we have those certain little things, but that's what J. Douglas Edwards used to do. He'd walk out on the stage and do his talk. He says, I'm now going to give you the most important thing I will ever teach you in the art of closing the sale. And of course, everybody's hanging on every word. Whenever you ask the final closing question, and they're all writing. Back then, we didn't have computers. They're all writing. Whenever you ask the final closing question. And he'd be quiet for just a few seconds. And then he would scream to the top of his lungs, shut up. And everybody would, ah. And of course, you never forgot it. Because it's a critical point of making a sale that all of us will develop our final closing question to get them to say yes and put their name on hopefully an agreement or type it in or to give you the check. But yeah, he changed my life in the art of selling, and of course became not only my next door neighbor, but the man that taught me the art of speaking and teaching and motivating and so forth. So amazing how things do happen like that.
Well, that's one of the things why I wanted to bring it out is because everybody in life, Tom, and you know this, if you ask an audience, I do this regularly. I speak to groups, again, before COVID and such. I ask everybody in this audience who wants to be mediocre, raise your hand. Now, I must tell you, Tom, every once in a while you get a crazy person, right? But nobody's there to raise their hand to be mediocre.
Sure.
Right? And by the same token, I ask people, how many people in this room know what the word paranoia means? Well, everybody knows. Okay, I said, how many people in this room know what pronoia is? I'm telling you, I've really, out of 5,000 people, let's say an average group I'll speak to, or 1,000, whatever it is, you get 2 or 3 people who actually know what it is. But pronoia is basically what you just said, Tom. When you know internally, mentally, spiritually, physically, that everything is designed for your benefit, to help you. This is what Tom Hopkins is here to share with the world. Everything in life is for you to grow and to be of benefit to yourself, because if you're a benefit to yourself, you can be a benefit to others. That's what really happened. That's what Tom is all about. The word selling or sales is the process that we utilize to enable us to make other people aware that the world is here for your benefit. And when you offer your product and service, and again, it's only done through passion. Tom is exactly correct on this. When it's done through passion, you can't fail as long as you follow certain rules. And the rules are, when you ask that closing question, you shut up.
And you know, Barry, you said something earlier that I want to piggyback on. Today, the handwritten thank you note is more powerful than ever before. And let me explain to the people. When I was young, 12, 15, whatever, my mom and dad would go to dinner there, and they'd come back after dinner, and I might get up to go to a little potty room, and my mom's were sitting at a little desk in the hall writing. I'd say, Mom, what are you doing? And she'd say, Tommy, we went out to this nice couple for dinner, and I'm just sending them a thank you note. And I watched her every time write these thank you notes. And I think, I can't be sure, Barry, but I think back in the days I was selling real estate, I was the first one to start writing these handwritten thank you notes. And I'm sharing this with the group because with all the electronic transactions, there's not a lot of personal stuff. But the thank you notes, and you guys that get my book, How to Master the Art of Selling, all 10 of my thank you notes are in there. And you can just take them and copy them. But the handwritten thank you note, no one else is doing it. And I would suggest getting some little cards at Hallmark, and you start sending these thank you notes to your folks. If you have an appointment and you talk with someone on the phone, get their, of course, address, and just write a note to them instead of an email. And you watch how much meaning it'll have. I can't tell you the number of listings on homes and number of sales I made that people after I always said this, I'm curious, you talked to some other realtors. Why did you choose me? And I can't tell you the number of folks that said, well, you know, Tom, it was so nice to get your thank you note and thank us. And no one else did that. So I just hope the folks that are watching this will say, you know what, I'm going to do what no one else is doing. I'm going to start handwriting the nice little thank you notes, and you will be thrilled with the results. So that's something I wanted to share, and I'm glad I had that in my notes.
Tom Hopkins is that he is sharing now. By the way, Tom, SHARE is a great acronym that stands for spreading happiness and rejuvenating energy.
Oh, I love that. I'm making notes of all this myself.
So the genius of what Tom is sharing with us is that it's the simple, practical, personal processes that make all the difference. Because as he mentioned in the beginning, human nature has not changed over millennia.
That's right.
It doesn't matter that you can send a communication around the world 3 times before you blink. It doesn't matter. That's just technology. It's what one does with it human to human. And when you touch another human in a positive, purposeful, powerful, pleasant way, then by definition, you have gained that first process, which is called connecting.
Yes.
And if they get to know you, also a K, and like you, and then trust you, It's not that you ever ask for a sale. It's a natural result. In the fancy term, it's the natural concomitant of everything you do. Again, J. Douglas Edwards. You're creating that atmosphere that must result in what others called making a sale. We don't do that. We call it the natural result of being of service and benefit. And just be listening to Tom, feeling your energy and knowing what he's done for, again, helping millions of people around the planet raise themselves up from mediocrity into what other people call genius. How did you do that? Well, I did it in the most simple way possible. I know the 14 points of a swing of a golf club, because that's not going to change.
And Barry, what's so funny too is if you had me in an elevator and you said, Tom, I read your book, I saw your picture on the front. Tell me what's really the most important thing. And these words are so important. Work harder on yourself than you do on your sales job to become a person that other people like, trust, and want to. Now, this is the key, want to listen to. See, many in a selling situation, they have to listen to you. But when they all of a sudden want education from you, they want knowledge from you. Now you've moved from have to listen to want to listen. So, gosh, I hear the words like and trust, Barry, and I'm knocked out because I always work when I would meet a person for the first time. Hey, forget selling anything. Let's get a relationship where you like me first.
Right.
Then let's build some trust. And again, I don't think I'd have the hundreds and hundreds of people purchase homes if they didn't like me, trust me, and then move into wanting to hear my message, wanting the knowledge I had to share. So I'm so glad you brought that up.
I also want to say one thing about Tom and J. Douglas Edwards also, who taught me the art of asking for and gaining referrals, because the ultimate expression of trust is when somebody gives referrals. Now we don't have the time right now, but the ability to understand how to work with referrals means you never have to work again. It means other people are working with you and for you because they like you. They want to help you.
Sure.
Because you've been benefiting them. If you go and make somebody $400,000, you think they're going to go around saying, gee, you shouldn't do business with that guy. Duh!
and Barry, if the folks watching us right now would just try this, when you first get a rapport built with a client, just say to them, our management, I always blame management. The upper management of the company is always asked that in the beginning, when I work with people, if we do a really good job and you're happy, would I be able to ask you for some other folks I might serve? Now you've set them up for the referrals at the end of the sale by saying to them, upper management's asked me to ask if we do a great job with you, could we ask for some other folks you might know? Now they're prepared. So be it an hour, be it a day, be it a week, be it a month, when you close the sale, you say, now, do you remember when we first talked that upper management asked if I could ask you for some other folks we might serve? Well, it's time for me to do that now. Can you think of some friends, some relatives, maybe think of someone in your computer that might be able to work with me and might need a home or want to move or whatever your product is. Now that's how you set that whole thing up. Do it in the beginning, blame upper management. Then when you ask for it, you'll get 2 or 3 qualified referred leads. Try it. It works.
That's the genius of Tom Hopkins. I have 3 questions for you, Tom. You ready?
Ready.
First question. Will you come back again?
Oh, you bet. I love doing these. I can sit in my nice home. My wife's right here and my 3 dogs. So no, I would love to.
Okay. Number 2, I'm going to give you, well, that'll be number 3. I'm going to ask you, you have 80 seconds only. 80 seconds, Tom.
Okay.
To answer this question. What is your most fervent desire?
Well, I think my most urgent desire is
fervent.
My most fervent desire today is to continue with the health, the abundance, the ability to still walk on a stage. I'm doing a huge tour in China, and I want to go there and have lots of energy on the stage. So I would say my most fervent desire is to never let people down who invest their time, energy, or money to hear my training, that they walk out excited, challenged, and wanting to do better in the service of their fellow man with benefits for the time they share. That would be my fervent desire.
And it will be manifested, sir. And now the third question. May I give you a hug in front of 361,800 people around the world? Are you ready?
Hug me, hug me.
Well, let me tell you what HUG stands for. HUG stands for heartfelt, unlimited giving.
I'm writing.
Heartfelt, unlimited giving. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, that was so good.
Thank you. And you, of course, are listening to The Joy of Living with your humble host, Barry Shore. And you've tuned in consciously and conscientiously because you care the most, the entire world, about you. Y-O-U. And that's great, because when you're the best you make the world a better place. And this show, again, is not about Tom Hopkins. Great guy that he is. Not about Barry Shore. Fantastic guy that he is. It's about you. And when you follow the 3 fundamentals and the guidelines we outlined today, then you will be happier, healthier, wealthier. We guarantee it, or your money back. And the 3 fundamentals, of course, are: number 1, life. Your life has purpose. Number 2, you live a purpose-driven life. Go mad. Go make a difference. And number 3, unlock the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms like WWW. What a wonderful world. Smile. Seeing miracles in life every day. Or as my 8-year-old niece says, seeing miracles in everyday life. And create the kind of world you want to live in, like Tom taught us, causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. Use 4-letter words, because we live in a world of positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant. 4-letter words like love, life, hope, sell, sail, grow, free, give, play, pray, swim, and tell the world F you. Capital N, capital N. Remember to add those 2. When people ask you, what are you talking about? I listen to Barry Shore, The Joy of Living, and use the 2 most powerful words in the English language 3 times a day, consciously and conscientiously, every single day. These 2 words are: thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, wonderful Tom Hopkins. And to everybody, with Tom and I are giving you a blessing. The blessing is: go forth, live exuberantly, spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Joy of Living podcast. Now that's another step towards your healthier, happier, and wealthier life. Never hesitate to do good in the world, no matter what the situation. Join us for another upbeat discussion next time at barryshore.com. And be sure to leave a rating and subscribe to the show to get more conversations like this. And remember to share it with your family and friends too. See you on the next episode.